A good, active start to the year. Obviously, we had Grapple Fest first, Polaris after that, and then Grapple Kings most recently. 3 really good opponents, and I managed to get 3 wins, so couldn't have started the year any better, really.
Yeah. When I spoke to you last time, obviously it's a while ago now, a bit behind you, but you were saying about your judo days, you were getting a bit tired of sort of the endless travelling to various halls to compete and that sort of thing. Are you enjoying this sort of competition a lot more now?
Yeah, it's just a lot different. It's like, obviously with the judo, there's a lot of weight cutting involved. So when I was fighting Olympic cycle, I'd be fighting like more or less every 2 weeks. So I was never not cutting weight, really. Now I'm not cutting weight at all. I'm just fighting at my natural body weight. Like, Grapple Fest was at 100 kilo. I only weighed in at 92. Polaris was 93, so that was comfortable. And Grapple Kings was 92. So I've not cut weight at all, which allows me to enjoy it a little bit more as well. And it also doesn't affect my training. I think when I used to cut weight, your volume of training would take a hit. Like, you couldn't spar as much as I like to spar. You couldn't push your conditioning as much as you wanted to, because obviously you were taking in less calories, so you had less energy, you weren't recovering as much. Whereas now, because I'm not cutting weight at all, it allows me to train how I need to train to perform as well as I want to perform, and it takes the stress out of it, so I'm enjoying it more. It's just an all-round different experience, and I'm lucky at the moment because the shows I'm getting on are all the big shows, so it's exciting.
Yeah. I'm not sure what your opponents weighed in at for them, but did you feel like weighing in under gave you any sort of disadvantage compared to your opponents in sort of strength?
No, like, I feel like I am pretty physically strong. And I think fighting some of the lads who are a little bit heavier suits me pretty well, because my style's not really a fast style. It's a lot of pressure, so it's like wrestling. If someone pulls guard on me, it's pressure passing. There's not much that I'm doing that's very fast. It's all slow, heavy pressure. So for me, I do genuinely prefer to fight the heavier lads who are a little bit slower. Because I back my strength and physicality, even though I'm 5 kilos lighter, whatever. I don't find it makes that much difference, especially in nogi. I think obviously with the judo, it was all in a gi. If you fought someone who was a much bigger man than yourself in a gi, it made a lot more difference, obviously with the grips and things, and they were slowing you down, and there's a lot of gripping involved when you're in the gi, and the weight advantage makes a difference with that. In terms of nogi though, 3 minutes in, you're sweating, it's slippery, it's just a different all-round game, and I feel like I'm strong enough to mix it with them heavy lads, and then I get a little bit of a speed advantage on top of that as well, so I kind of like giving a bit of weight away. And as I said, I can train, it allows me to train optimal all the way up to my competition, so like I'm literally going into a competition full of energy and just excited about performing rather than thinking about refueling after the weigh-in, feeling a bit depleted and so on.
Yeah. I think you were saying the other day you do 2 strength and conditioning sessions a week.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a good amount then?
Yeah, I just think, I don't know if it's genetics, like my dad was a bodybuilder and my uncle was a bodybuilder. It's like genuinely if I do 4 weight sessions a week, I just blow up. I'll just put loads of weight on. I've had mates who have done hypertrophy in the past, done hypertrophy blocks, 8 to 12 weeks, and put a kilo on. Like if I did 8 weeks hypertrophy, I could easily put half a stone to a stone on, easy. Checking that my food was right as well. So in terms of that, like if I do anything over 2 weight sessions a week, I tend to feel a bit bulky, a bit slow. I feel like I'm at a point now, because I'm 30 years old now as well, I feel like I'm at a point where I don't need to gain any size. I just need to get strong with the size that I've already got. So in terms of strength programs, I'm doing a lot of grip work. A lot of my sessions are like low volume, so like 3 to 5 reps, but a little bit heavier. I'll do 1 session a week where I do get a bit of a pump, or we go light and increase the volume, but I'm kind of using that for recovery at the end of a week. like I did that yesterday after a hard morning of sparring. So at the moment, a normal week for me looks like 2 strength, 2 conditioning, because I think obviously ADCC Trials is next. And I think even though the 6-minute matches, the pace that you'll have to hit in them, I think conditioning will be a decent element. So I'll be hitting 2 strength, 2 conditioning, 4 sparring, 4 technical. So whatever that is, it's about 12 sessions a week. That's what a week looks like for me at the moment.
Yeah. So looking to increase your endurance then for ADCC?
Yeah, not massively. Like, I think the matches that I've been having on these shows have been 10 minutes anyway. And genuinely, like, I don't hide what I'm trying to do in them matches either. Like, my aim, my plan in them matches is to keep at the highest pace I can and apply as much pressure as I can in that time to try and break down my opponent, to hopefully get a finish. If I don't get a finish, then I'm just consistently passing and get into good positions and I'll get the decision. That is what I try and do, and at the moment it seems to be working. So my conditioning it's not off pace anyway. So I'm just looking to maintain or at least just tip that up a tiny bit so I can go hard for these 6-minute rounds.
Yeah. You were saying sort of half jokingly in your post-match interview after Polaris that you just here to throw people.
Yeah, like it is though. That's what I am. Like I just like on the. I think the shows and competitions are different. So like, you go to an ADCC Trials and you are there to win. Like, and that's it. Like, you don't go to a Trials for anything else. So like, everyone that's going to the ADCC Trials wants to get to the Worlds, and obviously that's very hard. It's a very hard tournament to win. But when you get to the Trials, all it is about is winning, and it doesn't matter how. Like, I think it was Tarza who won the European Trials at 77 last time and won every match on a negative. He won every single match on a negative. No one's bothered, because he's still going to be at the ADCC Worlds. Where I think shows, it's almost a freak show. It's like, if you think your Polaris, your Grapple Fest, your Grapple Kings, when they put out, we're looking to matchmake, they must get about 500 people dropping names to be on them shows. So you've got to make sure when you get a chance at getting on them shows that you do something that makes them remember you. If you just go on them and you treat it like an ADCC Trials and you grind out a win and you do nothing that gets people standing up, when everyone puts their names in and you've got 300 names, why are they going to look at that list and say, oh, yeah, I remember him from last time, when you didn't do anything? So when I get on the shows, it's like, for me, it's to do something where people remember. Try and get it on a highlight where people remember, so people are asking for you to be back on that show.
Want the fans to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's all that's about though. I think the shows, then people treat it as a night out. Then people go, they take the missus, they have a few beers, they just want to watch some wild matches. And that's what it's about, and that's what I try and do on them shows. Hopefully someone stands, I can get a massive throw, or I'll get thrown. Like, I think soon I'm going to end up with someone that's going to throw me. I'm fighting Michael Pixley on Grapple Fest, who's a phenomenal wrestler.
Here himself, not long ago.
Yeah, he was here as well, and we had a round here, and that was wild. I think he's NCAA Division 2 champion. I'm not going to pull guard with him. I'm probably going to get thrown. But I'm fine with that as well. If I get thrown, I'm going to be looking to get back up, and I'm pretty sure I'll take him down as well, and it'll be a good watch. And like I said, I think that's all it's about with these shows. It's a bit of a freak show.
Yeah. Is your mindset different than going into ADCC compared to them? Is it a lot less about the enjoyment for you, but you determined to get the win?
Well, yeah, like, I'm going there to win. But my style doesn't change. Like, the style that I'm going to fight with doesn't change. And I think the ADCC rule set really suits me. It's, they're either going to be forced to stand because they don't want to get a negative for pulling. So if they stand, I've got an half-decent chance of taking anyone down, I believe. If they take me down and we're in them scrambles, I'd like to back myself in them scrambles to end up on top as well. Obviously, you're getting points for passing. So if someone does pull, and it's before that second 3-minute block in the 6-minute round, then I'd back myself that I can pass a lot of people's guard and get on top. I'd back myself that I can go really hard for 6 minutes as well. So I feel like I can cause a lot of people a lot of problems in terms of an ADCC rule set in a 6-minute window. So nothing will change in terms of my style. If someone stands, I'm going to look to throw big, but for the points, and look to pass. If a situation comes up where I can get a finish, I'll get a finish. But I won't be hunting a finish that much that I put myself in any bad positions and end up on the bottom. Because obviously, in a match that short, 6 minutes ain't long with the lads that you're going to be fighting on them sorts of competitions. And one mistake like that can cost you.
Yeah. On Polaris, you looked, not in a bad way, but you were keen to disengage if you thought you were going in a bad position when you were trying to pass.
Yeah, you got to though. You got to though. It's like you can't fight someone like Freddie, and it's like there's almost unwritten rules in jiu-jitsu that if you pull guard, I've got to go to headquarters and play headquarters. It's fucking stupid. It's like you get these lads who are phenomenal leg lockers. Why would I go and walk into your headquarters? What, to let you grab my leg and have a chance? Or if you take me down, why would I then go, oh, I'm on the bottom, so I'm going to have to play bottom? I don't understand it. It's like it is an unwritten rule. I get it in the gym. I'll play guard in the gym loads. I'll play headquarters in the gym loads to build familiarity in them leg lock positions and try out some different things. I'm all for that in training. But you get to a show like Polaris and you've got a 10-minute window, surely you should just be playing to your strengths. So if I'm fighting someone like Freddie, anyone that's been with Freddie knows if he gets hold of your leg, he's taking it home with him. His deep half guard's ridiculous. So you pass guard, you get to side control, great. If Freddie underhooks your leg and you want to play around in that position, then you've not really thought it through. For me, it's like I said, you've got a 10-minute window. You've got to do what you do to win. I'm not going to sit around. I'm not going to finish Freddie from being in his deep half guard. So as soon as he grabs my leg, I'm going to get out and try and pass guard again. You got to do what you can to win.
Yeah. Does it frustrate you when they don't want to stand up with you, or is it sort of just them having the same mindset that you're not going to want to go in there half guard and he's obviously not going to want to stand up with you?
Yeah, like it doesn't frustrate me at all. It's like it's jiu-jitsu or grappling, isn't it? So it's like you've got to play to your strengths. Like I think a takedown, obviously there's not as much risk. Like if I take someone down on Polaris, yeah, it looks good, but I haven't won the fight. It's not judo where your back hits the mat, it's hip on, and I've won. Like I've took you down. Now we continue and we're fighting for a submission, so it's not as risky. But I don't get frustrated at all. It's like at the weekend when I fought Grapple Kings, Kieran Davin sat straight down because he's got a really good butterfly guard. You got to play to your strengths. It's not like through the week I only train wrestling. Like I love wrestling, judo and standing up, I love that. If someone pulls guard, I also love double underpassing, body lock passing, over underpassing, double overpassing. And we work on that at least 5 out of 7 days. And then if I end up in some entanglements, I train leg locks twice a week as well. So it's not like I'm neglecting all of that and I'm just coming out to wrestle. If someone pulls guard, it's grappling. If I didn't want anyone to pull guard or I didn't expect anyone to pull guard, then I'd just go and compete in wrestling or judo again. Yeah.
As we were saying, obviously been very consistent with competition this year. How do you sort of recover in between each one, of staying consistent with training in between each competition?
I just try and have like a really easy week after, like especially now that I'm getting on a little bit and I've still got to run the gym. Like I must teach 20 to 25 classes a week, which is quite a lot. But like example, like after Grapple Kings this week, I've not done that much. This week I've done a couple of technical sessions. I always keep up with my strength. Because I find if you let your strength drop for a week or two, you do your first session back, you get loads of DOMs and it ruins your training on the mat that week. So I think it's important to always to keep them 2 strength sessions in, regardless. But in terms of being on the mat, I've kind of just enjoyed this week and done a little bit of technical work. I didn't spar Monday night. I did a little bit of situational spar Wednesday night. Then we had the lads over from Bradford yesterday morning, so I did some rounds with them. And I've sparred this morning. I've still sparred 3 times, but just with a different mentality. I've been playing a bit this week and not really pushing my pace. I find for me that kind of helps me mentally, because it's not physically that I get burnt out, it's definitely mentally. It just gets a little bit too much because I'm very full on with my training. It's like if I'm preparing for something, then I like to say I train very hard. So when I get to that tournament and I know I'm in really good condition, I'll go as hard as I can in that tournament, and win or lose, I tend to get a little bit mentally tired after it, where I genuinely can't be bothered with grappling at all. So then that week I kind of just play around, focus more on coaching, putting a lot into the team, and just my own training. I'm just, like I said, I get my weights done. I play around without inspiring and just mess about with some stuff that I wouldn't normally do. Yeah. So that's been this week for me, and then now I've got 4 weeks from next week to ADCC, so I'll attack the next 4 weeks and then be ready for that.
Yeah. In terms of injuries, I think I've heard you say before that if you only trained when you felt 100%, you'd never train at all.
Oh yeah, like my body's fucked, mate. Yeah, it is fucked. It's like I'd snapped my ACL when I was like 17, so I've had a reconstruction on my right leg. I can guarantee, like, when I stop competing, I'll probably need one of my hips operating on. Like, my left hip's fucked. Like, every morning I get out of bed, I can't walk for like the first 2 hours.
It's not your ACL.
Doing judo, I went to Poland. I was only 17. Went to Poland on a training camp. It's a bit of a mad story, really. I went over there. They used to do like a summer training camp. It was like out in the sticks in Poland. It's like a little. You'd stay in like basically like in a cabin with all the Polish national team. I just went on my own because at the time I had a Polish coach who moved over to Britain and was teaching me judo. So he kind of had a link and he sent me over there. And it was basically strength conditioning in the morning, 2 hours sparring straight after, and then 2 hours sparring in the evening. It was a brutal camp, and I was out there for 2 weeks, and I got halfway through it, and I went to throw a lad, and he did an uranagi, so that's like a suplex, but he was being like super defensive, and he was like backing off, and I shone him my back for an uchimata, and he kind of like body locked me, and he should have tried to pick me up and throw me. But he like body locked me and dropped through the back of my knees, and I snapped my MCL, ACL, and whatever it is on the outside, and I tore my cartilage as well. So I had 7 months off for that. I was lucky at the time because I was on the GB team that I got put straight into private. Yeah. So I got a full reconstruction on my right leg, and then I was back competing about 7 months later. But yeah, my body's battered, mate. It's like, it's a bit ridiculous, really. I'll just put some Tiger Balm on. Like, if I wake up and I'm really bad, I'll just put Tiger Balm all over my hips and stuff so I can't feel it. So it's red hot so I can't feel it, so I can train. And then I'll pay for it when I get home later on. I try and do 4 saunas a week. I try and do 4 20-minute saunas a week. I don't even know if it helps, but it just makes me feel a little bit better mentally. I'll try and stretch in them saunas. Yeah. But in terms of that recovery, it's like, I never really feel fresh, to be honest. It's just, I try and say to the lads in the gym as well, because some of them are like, I've had a few days off because I'm fucked. And it's like, it depends what you want out of it. Like, if you're doing it recreationally, fine, do what you want. But if you do actually want to compete at a good level, you have genuinely just got to train when you're fucked all the time. And like, there's probably physios who'll watch this and be like, don't listen to this bloke, he's mental. But I'm telling you now, anyone that's doing it at a high level is training injured. Because if you're not, like I said before, you'll have that much time off that you wouldn't be fighting at an high level.
Yeah. Do you think there is a line, though, where it is more sensible to take the time off and Do you know what I mean? Is there a line there? Or?
Yeah, it's a serious injury.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say, oh, well, you just snapped your MCL. Fuck that, mate, just put a knee pad on. Wouldn't be like that. I'm talking like, if you get up and something's sore, but you can walk, or your shoulder's sore, but you can do a press up. There's something you can do. Like, if I come on and something's very bad, I might not spar that day, but I'll still do technique. Like, I don't think, if you're serious, there's no excuse that you shouldn't be in the gym. Like, even if, like when I was at Camberley full time, even if you were proper fucked, and you couldn't train whatsoever, then you'd still have to watch. So like, we'd have to come in and watch training, watch the technique that we were working. Otherwise, if you're like, right, yeah, I'm a bit sore, I'm just going to have 2 weeks off, you fall behind in that 2 weeks. It's like, we do a lot. We do the same sort of drills. So at the moment, we're doing double underpassing and linking it to body lock passing. And we'll stick with that for 4 months on a couple of them sessions a week. So people really get it into them. If you have 2 weeks off in that, you've missed a lot of shit. So then you come in at the end of the 2 weeks, and I haven't really got time to go back to you and be like, right, mate, you've missed all this, and fill you in on it. Because the people that are here every week, I want to put it into them. It's like, I'll help everyone in the gym and everyone gets treated the same, but obviously the lads and the girls that are here day in, day out and looking to actually make a career out of it or get to a very high level, you've got to put more into them.
Yeah.
So in terms of injuries, I'd say, like, if you've got a very, very serious injury and it needs surgery, then you need to rest. But for me, if you're not getting surgery, you should be training, or at least watching.
Yeah.
If you can't walk, you can't do a press up, sit down and watch. If you can walk, you can do a press up, fucking train. If you can't spar, do a technique. I just think there's always something you can do.
Yeah. You were saying about these next few weeks preparing for, obviously, ADCC. Is there anything specific you're going to be doing in training to be preparing for that?
Not so much, no. Like, I'd like to think like our training is pretty good for an ADCC rule set. We obviously have a good focus on stand-up, good focus on pressure passing, good focus on getting up from the bottom. We push conditioning anyway, like you've seen how we trained this morning, that's just a normal session. People getting shark tanked and stuff, and so we do push in terms of conditioning, match specific. And then on top of that, I'll top it up with my strength conditioning. I'll get out, I'll do club visits. I could go to Bradford and train with the lads there, they'll come here. Me and Cam at ASW have been speaking about doing some cross training. We have the East Yorkshire Open Mat, that's here on the 24th of this month, I think. I'm doing some seminars, and on all my seminars I'll teach for an hour and a half, and then I'll spar with everyone as well. So that's just the way I train anyway. I really, really, really push cross-training for myself and everyone. I think you need to train with as many different people as possible, and that's definitely come from judo. Get used to as many different styles as you can, so then it's no different when you get to competition. And it's just kind of looking at the rule set itself, just seeing, proper looking into the rule set, because on these big shows, like Polaris have rules. Polaris is like, they do something like 3 rounds. I don't even know the rules. I've just been turning up, competing, playing my game,
yeah,
and hoping it's enough, and at the moment it has been. I think for ADCC, there's going to be a lot of people actually playing the rules, so I think you've got to know them rules.
Yeah.
So we had Ash Williams come down here, and I kept in contact with Ash, and I asked him the other day if there's any go-tos that he uses, or he used, because obviously he won the last trials. And he mentioned things like getting to turtle. So it's like, if you pass my guard and I get to turtle, you don't get points. So it's little things like that as well that I'll start bringing in and putting a little focus on that, but I won't practice it, it'll probably just be in my sparring. And I'm playing bottom, let people pass and get to turtle, so there's no points and things like that. So my training won't change, I'll just keep in mind things that I'll be looking to do to suit an ADCC rule set.
Yeah. I mean, obviously mentioned Astros then. Obviously, Ben Bennett's been coming over from his gym. He's going to be mixed with like a lot of other high-level competitors in the UK.
Yeah, mate, I always do that. I've always done it. Like, for me, if someone's good, just go and train with them. Like, I'd do it. If I weren't running my own gym, I'd be doing it all the time. Like, obviously, it's a massive commitment for me running the gym, and it's my priority. Like, I'm genuinely only competing now because I enjoy competition. As soon as I stop getting a thrill out of competing, I just won't compete anymore. I'm literally just competing now because I'm enjoying it. And at the moment, it just happens to be going pretty well. But in terms of like training with different people, like, there's no one pushes that more than me, because judo, that's all we did. We used to travel every 2 weeks to get training camps with different people, different styles. We'd go to different judo clubs in the country. We'd all travel there together. It's absolutely key. It's just you're training with the people in that group all the time. It doesn't matter if you've got the best training group in the world. You will get stale, and you will all get used to each other, and you will get away with things that you wouldn't against someone else.
Yeah. Are you looking past the trials at all, like to the world, or are you just sort of taking it as it comes?
Just take it as it comes. Like I have with everything. It's just been prepare the best I can, turn up in the best condition I can, enjoy it, go as hard as I can. For me, like, and I've always lived by this, or I've lived by this for a long time, is that I'm alright if I can leave a tournament with no regrets. So even if as long as I prepare right, and I turn up to the trials and I'm in really good shape and I feel good and I have a good warm-up and then I go out and I fight hard, if I lose, then I'm alright with it. Like, for me in the past, it's been when I've missed little things out, I've not done this session, or my nutrition's not been great, or I sweated too much weight off rather than do that nutrition properly for it. I've not warmed up proper on the day. When I've lost in them situations, then I have regrets, and that's when it's been shit.
Because you feel like the preparation's not going.
Yeah, like for me, if I prepare right and I go out and I fight hard, and there's nothing to have regrets about. It's fine. Everyone's going to lose. Like, I think it's completely different to a sport like MMA. It's like MMA, the top lads will fight 3 times a year, so you peak for everyone. Like, you're planning for that opponent for everyone. You want to keep a clean record, because obviously the longer you have a 0 on your record, the more money you're going to get as it goes up. Grappling's not like that. Grappling's like, people are fighting in sports halls every week and losing every week and no one cares. You get one big win and then everything changes. So
I quite like that there's not as much focus on.
So do I, yeah. I do as well, because it not everyone does it, but it should mean that you fight everyone and you will fight anybody. It still doesn't happen. There's a lot of people that do say no to matches, which is probably why I ended up with Freddie on Polaris, because no one else wanted him. But yeah, I'm not thinking ahead at all. I'm just looking forward to the trials. I'm excited for the trials. It's my first ADCC Trials as well. See how it goes. If I won it, it'd be absolutely buzzing. If I don't, then I've got Grapple Fest 3 weeks later or 2 weeks later, so I'll start focusing on that.
Yeah.